Good morning and be very welcome to today's edition of Mexico News Network's Daily Report. I am your host, Sofia Rattinger, broadcasting from El Dorado Royal Spa Resort by Carisma. We have a lot of new information, but before we start, do not forget to visit our website, www.mexiconewsnetwork.com, to keep you informed, and also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. Let's begin with the information. Discover a world of wonder with us. A place hidden within the beautiful state of Chiapas, whose magic speaks for itself, San Cristobal de las Casas. The place is ideal for those who love culture, colonial architecture, music, and art. The entire city constitutes a journey across what is ancestral and modern. San Cristobal de las Casas is a very well kept and preserved and portrays across the unique folklore for its residents, who are an enchanting blend between Tzotzil descendants and foreigners, mainly European. The city also reveals extraordinarily fascinating views, particularly those from the Templo de Guadalupe, where you may admire a traditional side of the city. It's simply breathtaking. San Cristobal de las Casas is a place located at a privileged geographical zone, over 2,000 meters off the sea, and features great weather, which is why you won't suffer any heat flashes. You can discover San Cristobal de las Casas in several ways: walking around its historical center and meeting up with amazing stories every step of the way, or even riding on a special bus that will take you across the most emblematic and famous spots of the city. Whichever option you choose, I can guarantee you will have an excellent time. However, we have drawn you up a list of some of the must-see museums in the city you cannot miss on. Museo Casa Utrilla, Museo de Culturas Populares de Chiapas, Museo de Historia y Curiosidades de San Cristóbal, Museo de la Medicina Maya, Museo de Trajes Regionales, Museo del Ámbar de Chiapas, Museo y Chocolatería Cultural Cacao, Museo Galería Elisa Burkhardt, Museo Mesoamericano del Jade, Museo Nabolón, and finally, La Enseñanza Casa de la Ciudad. Remember that San Cristobal de las Casas is also filled with colonial churches and other very interesting buildings, which are also gorgeous. There's still a great to tell of this magical place, so stay with us only on Mexico News Network to find out more. And the state of Quintana Roo provides all sorts of activities and options to its every tourist. There are all sorts of tourist destinations within the state, each offering a different experience, from luxurious resorts by the sea or a bungalow by the lagoon. During the last few years, the tourist trend has changed slightly towards a more sustainable activity, being aware of the conservation and keeping of the environment. This means that service providers and commercial establishments have adapted their facilities in order to reduce the negative impact on nature product of their activities and encourage a healthy tourism development. Ecotourism is a concept very much sought of by travelers from all over the globe, particularly those from Europe. Beyond fancy and luxurious resorts, these kinds of tourists look for a natural experience, away from city limits and immersing themselves in a natural environment. The National Commission for the Development of Indigenous Towns is a government association that is in charge of dealing and managing those resources the Federation grants to help the development and maintenance of indigenous communities. It is an institution that looks at ecotourism as an opportunity to grow and develop Maya communities in the state of Quintana Roo, reason why they have created the Alternative Tourism Program for indigenous zones. This is a project that destines money and infrastructure for the development for ecotourism attraction in these communities in order to maintain and trigger an economic activity and benefit in the area. Some of these projects include zip lines, hanging bridges, cabanas, and jungle tours. This year, the Commission has granted over 250 million pesos to support 9 eco-tourist projects in the state. For instance, in the Nobec zone, 10 million pesos will be destined towards infrastructures for the realization of those projects. There's also the possibility of integrating 5 more communities into this program, 2 located in José María Morelos, 2 in Felipe Carrillo Puerto, and another one in Lázaro Cárdenas. And have you ever heard saying good things come in small packages? Well, after visiting Aguascalientes, you will think this has a whole new meaning. Aguascalientes is the 4th smallest state in Mexico after Mexico City, Tlaxcala, and Morelos, although this doesn't mean it's less interesting than other destinations. On the contrary. It may not have exuberant beaches or impressive skyscrapers, but it has charming colonial buildings, mysterious tunnels, and exquisite culinary tours. Maybe one of its greatest features is the bullfighting tradition. Show fills up that the monumental Plaza de Toros Aguascalientes bullfight rink in Aguascalientes, and also one of the main venues of the Feria Nacional de San Marcos, the San Marcos National Fair. With 186 years of tradition, it is the oldest and most important fair in Mexico. Every year, hundreds of people travel from all over the country to enjoy different cultural shows, bullfights, culinary tastings, and live all the color and folklore of the state. Aguascalientes has been the cradle of several cultural movements. One of the renowned citizens is the artist José Guadalupe Posada, artist who created the famous image of the Catrina, one of Mexico's most representative icons. In November, we celebrate Día de Muertos, or the Day of the Dead, celebration of those who have left this world. It is a celebration that represents a fusion of colonial and pre-Hispanic cultures. A perfect example of this celebration is the Festival de Calaveras, a school festival in Aguascalientes. Here, the Catrina comes to life as a lead in this Mexican culture-filled celebration. Aguascalientes has a colonial charm that takes over your heart. The local city trams still tour around to take you to the most iconic places in town. But probably the best tour is to explore the fantastic buildings, of which their walls enclose fascinating stories that can be heard over and over again. Another amazing experience is to travel the tunnels of the Parroquia de Nuestra Señora de Belén, parish church, ingenious hydraulic construction of the 18th century. Of course, adventure activities couldn't be left behind in Aguascalientes. The state has a lush flora and fauna, mountainous formations like the Cerro del Muerto, Sierra de Laurel, Sierra Fría, and the Tonel de Potrerillo, in which you can practice several sport activities such as zipline, mountain bike, camping, and hiking. And for those sweet lovers, visiting Calvillo is a must. It is a district of Aguascalientes known for their guava production and candy confections. Its art, culture, and tradition have granted them the recognition as Pueblo Mágico and as a heritage of nation. Aguascalientes will sweep you off your feet from start to finish. Do not let anyone tell you about when you can experience the charm and magic of this amazing, amazing colonial destination. And when it comes to witchcraft or sorcery, there is no other place in Mexico as popular as Catemaco, Veracruz. Located in the center of La Sierra de los Tuxtlas in the Gulf of Mexico, the county of Catemaco is home to a small mystical city that goes by the same name, which is visited by many tourists throughout the year looking for one for its most treasured secrets, its witches, wizards, and masters of the occult sciences. Whether to heal a strange illness, recover from economic problems, consolidate an impossible love, or even pretend to manipulate dark energy, people from all over the country and abroad travel to Catemaco in search of the unknown as an alternative to their daily lives. There are several versions of the origin of witchcraft in Catemaco. It is said that this trait dates back several decades, when various groups of sorcerers and warlocks, heirs of the ancient secrets of their ancestors, settled in different parts of the thick jungle of Veracruz, region of the Gulf Coast, after the town was officially declared as a city in 1966. Another very feasible version is that these practices are a sign of syncretism generated from the Olmec rituals and spells with the beliefs and rituals of the slaves brought from Africa and the Caribbean by Hernán Cortés, and with witchcraft Europe, which over time have survived to create the phenomenon we know today. The truth is that shamanism has always existed among the inhabitants of these areas, where the healing elements of the nature were common. After crossbreed and religious imposition, the words were changed from shamans to wizards or witches, and herbal medicine to potions or beverage. And today the native people of this region use these cultural variants to make the destination more attractive and keep its economy alive. This, of course, does not mean lack of seriousness in its sacred work. Not at all. It can even produce extremely powerful results. They just add a little color to the tradition of this region. Valentin Valdez, in his research for the newspaper Zócalo Saltillo, writes the following. In 1970, the Brujo Mayor of that time, Gonzalo Aguirre Pech, organized a convention of witchcraft in Catemaco, where in addition to holding a black mass, there were both races and anthropological talks attended by sorcerers, healers, shamans, and aspirants. But 20 years earlier, Pech Aguirre started warlock tourism in Catemaco, in an age where sorcerers practiced white magic using ancient recipes to cure physical and emotional illness. Pech Aguirre turned into Brujo Mayor, and from there he began promoting this activity, which attracted politicians, artists, athletes, and the general population. It is said that the emblematic warlock sold his soul to the devil in the hills of Mono Blanco, thus obtaining evil powers under the nickname the Lion Hawk, until 1986 when he died. From that time until today, the spells or healings made in Catemaco conducted under solemn rituals have become popular all over Mexico, reaching the ears of people from other parts of the world. The works range from simple clean white spells to invocation of spirits or entities and even black magic. In pursuit of a remedy for the visitor's disease, herbs, grains, seeds, or any other natural element, gift of Mother Earth are used. During your visit to Veracruz, do not hesitate to come to this magical city to learn more about their mythical tradition and customs, besides visiting the stunning lagoon and national park sites where you can reconnect with nature and live a unique experience. We'll be right back with more information on Mexico and the Riviera Maya after these brief messages. Stay with us.